Hello and welcome back to AI in Focus from Thoughtbot. It's good to be back after being off on vacation last week. I missed you all, so thank you for joining us back again today. And today I'm joined by Valentino Stoll, AI software engineer at Gusto, newly anointed, I guess, AI software engineer at Gusto. So Valentino, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, you got it.
So today we're going to use a tool that you have been working on. It's actually I understand it's sort of a variety. It's some layers. The first layer is called Meeting Buddy, and then we're going to be looking at Podcast Buddy. Tell us the story of how this was created and how you hit upon it and what it does.
Yeah. So I just like making things, and I'm on a podcast, the Ruby Rogues podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm always just, trying to come up with new questions to ask people and make sure to guide the conversation in the right way. And also like having to, put together show notes at the end. And it seems like something AI would be very good at. And there's open transcription models out there, and I thought, well, how hard could it be to transcribe audio and start to collect some of that information in real time? And so it turns out it's easy to transcribe, much harder to do all the real-timey response mechanisms. But that's kind of what prompted this podcast buddy. And so I built this kind of command line tool that transcribes the whole conversation and then periodically just summarizes the topics that are happening and being discussed, and then gives like hey, you might want to talk about these questions.
So we're going to jump over and do we're going to use it. So let me share my screen. So we have a terminal here, and I've already installed Podcast Buddy, and it does when you first run it, it downloads models for Whisper. It's using Whisper to do the transcription. So we've already taken care of that. It occurs to me, do I need to do something to loop back your audio into it as well?
So as long as you're you're broadcasting the audio on your speakers or something like that, so your mic can pick it up, then it will register it. It unfortunately doesn't have like a, multiple.
Yeah. How does it select which microphone to use?
Just whichever one is active.
Whichever one's active.
Yep.
Okay. The default.
Yeah, the default
one.
one.
Okay. Let's so I use a program on my computer called Loopback to have sources. So I'm going to be able to turn on this live input. So that's going to be able to loop back you through that. Can you still hear me?
Oh, nice.
Yep,
Nice.
thumbs up.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. And then I believe we're doing it live here, folks, like we usually do on the stream. I think if I change my input to be the live stream input, yeah, it is. So now if you say something,
Yep.
see how your input level moves as well. Okay, so set as the default input source. Let's start it up and see whether it works. So if it works, we should both be able to talk and it should show the transcript.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Oh, I'm in the wrong directory. There we go. Okay, so I press enter to signal a question start.
I would wait. Yeah. I want to wait till you hear that it heard something. Yeah. So go ahead and answer that question now.
Now, should it be picking you up too? Yeah. Okay, so it's only picking me up.
Yeah. Seems like it may not be picking up on the mic.
Is there a way to tell what source?
There is.
So I noticed the library that you're using, that we're using, is what is it? SDL2?
Yep.
Something like that. And that's a library for Ruby to work with audio inputs.
It is. It's being wrapped by the whisper.cpp project.
Mm-hmm.
And so Whisper will use that SLD to under the hood. We can look to see maybe we can fix this while we're here.
So this is the library. I think. Maybe not. So what I'm curious about is whether there's a way to customize the input that it's using.
We should probably check down the tag of the gem that you're using.
Okay, this is the source code to Podcast Buddy, but I in this directory, I just have Podcast Buddy 021, the gem.
Okay. If you clone the repo and just check out that tag, then we can explore it in real time.
And I always forget, it's tags. And what was that? 021. And have you named them 021 like this?
Yeah, with the V.
Okay.
Cool.
So this is that code here.
Yep. So it's much fewer files.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think everything is in the podcast buddy. And then it's the podcast buddy. That's between the two.
So how does the whisper streaming, how does that work? Is it so is Whisper taking the audio input?
Yeah, exactly. Whisper basically will just call the SLT2.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if
And
there's
then
a
sets up.
is there a command line option maybe for the input? Capture device ID.
Oh, there we go.
Of course, I don't know how to find the capture device IDs.
Let's see. It's probably a SLT2. Here we go. I wonder if it's just where you have that. There was a way I saw.
You can get all audio device IDs by running the following Swift code. Alternatively, you can use the command line tool I made without installing.
Interesting. There is a STL2 JS test package.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so you can list that way.
How do I use Brew to install that, or
I'm asking ChatGPT here.
Okay.
Do you have ls input command?
ls input?
No. Let's see. Looks like this is for game pets.
Okay. what I'm trying is I downloaded this binary, but it's not. Gatekeeper's not letting it run.
Here I did.
I did find it.
Let me
Put it in our chat here.
Thanks, Clarissa. I think I just, it was because of the loop back that I have going. So, Valentino, can you say something? Make sure the stream can still hear you. No, I can't hear you, but. Oh. Yeah, but I don't know that the stream can hear you. So if the stream, if you still can't hear, let us know. Okay. So that's
with that installed, you can do that.
Okay, what did you find?
So there's a library called SDL2 JS test.
Okay.
And then you can list devices. But you have to brew install. I put it in our private chat.
Install SDL2
dash JS test. So there's some cask grumble GRUMBL slash.
Do you want to type? Do you want to type or paste it?
There we go.
Is it BEL or BLE?
Let's see. This is just what you says. I gotta open it up.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe they just. Here, I found what we try.
Okay.
Come here. I'm just going to make a new repo. There we go. I'm gonna assume you can do that. Right. And then we got to build something quick.
Okay. Oops. Right. We must be missing. Let's see. No turns. All right, maybe this isn't right.
Okay. So let's take one more crack at this approach. Okay, cool. We got a list of the AV capture devices. Okay, the unique ID. I lost track of where we were in the stack here for a sec. So I'm gonna go to Buddy. So
Okay. So we had yeah.
Can we do anything to how do we run? So should we try? Are we going to be able to run the code here?
We should be able to call that whisper command. I think there's whisper in the temp directory.
I haven't run anything yet for this. The source code checkout.
Oh, okay. So if you just did bundle.
Yeah, I did bundle.
And then dot exe Python should have generated it. The temp directory.
Like this?
Mm-hmm.
You have already activated it, but your gem file. That's what I did. What is the what does this do?
Mm-hmm.
Just
list down what's in your temp directory.
Maybe we could
There's
just
nothing in the temp directory.
whisper manual.
There we go. The bundle exe.
Oh, there we go.
So this is likely going to run into the problem with the version of Whisper that it's getting.
So we can fix that
actually while we're here.
Yeah. So what it's doing now is building Whisper. Oh, actually, what is it doing now? Yeah, building Whisper, right?
Yeah, so it doesn't come packaged with streaming out of the box. So you have to recompile it with streaming support.
Okay, so it's done. It's done building now. It failed because I didn't have because I changed directories. I didn't have that token.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Great. So this is the problem you're talking about.
Yeah.
They've changed the.
Sorry, stream. I know that Valentino is echoing, but it's because of the loop back to get the audio working on my side for the whisper. So, I'm not sure that there's a lot I can do about that right at this instant. Actually,
Yeah, maybe
if I temporarily do this, I think it will stop the echo.
There we go. I think that's better.
Okay.
All right. So if we open up that, I think the exe has the like if you go back to your editor that had the gem open.
Well, we need to check out the. I can do that, but we also need to check out the other version of Whisper, right?
Well, so here they've just renamed. This should work with the newer version. Yeah.
What is it called?
It's whisper -stream. I think it's actually build/bin/whisper -stream.
Oh, okay. So let's see.
Yep.
There's build, bin, and then we have bench, main, Whisper CLI, Whisper server, quantize.
Looks like it didn't compile it with streaming.
Right. What I needed to do before was under the old version, I needed to run make stream. But I don't know what it's called now because that doesn't work on the new version. There's no target stream.
Here, let me just have a stable branch I can push. Okay, system dependency.
I believe is there a system dependency class in this version?
Where would that be?
In lib podcast buddy. Yep, I see it there. So if you go to where it clones Whisper,
Mm-hmm. Right here.
and then check out, add a, just copy this line and do a git checkout of v1.7.5.
175.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, this needs to be after the change directory.
Oh, right. Yep.
Like that.
Yep. And then let me see. There's one other thing. Your CMake line. So it's using CMake now.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of make and make stream, here I can actually type this out since I have it open. Great. Thank God you're using Vim.
Oh, I was about to say, if it's a problem, I can turn it off.
No, please don't. Whisper SDL2 equals on and build release. Oops.
And it's capital there on the double E. Yep.
Build. Yeah, that looks right. All right, let's save this. And if you just nuke your Whisper directory, and rerun that podcast buddy.
Fortunately, needs to download that model every time you nuke it, huh?
Unfortunately. I think there is the newer one. There's a force command because I got frustrated. Okay, and then this is going to take a little bit of time too.
Hopefully it works. I mean, you just type that out.
I did test this before, so
Okay.
worst case we can just go in and rebuild it. Stream, right? So now we're referencing. Right. All right, let's double check that we have Whisper Stream now. So it'd be build/bin.
Oh. Build bin stream. Yep.
There it is. Great. So now we have to update where that whisper command is set. I think there's a whisper command variable somewhere. Yep. And I think it's whisper-stream.
It was, you know, it's just stream.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, there's whisper stream too. Okay.
I don't know if they're the same.
Oh, look at that. It prints out the capture devices when you run it without.
Oh,
but it's seg faulted, so
Isn't
I'm not
that nice?
Obtain spec for input. Okay. I don't know why it's seg faulted.
It's probably because you're not supplying a model.
Oh, okay. So okay, ID, and the ID is 6 that we want. So I noticed in the code here, it's hard coded to C1. So if we change that to 6.
I wonder if I drop that, if it auto selects the right one.
I don't know. Okay.
Oh, that's promising.
Yeah,
Let's see
that's
if it
good.
picks
It
us
didn't
up.
seg fault. Let's see. Okay.
All right,
let
gets
me
you.
enable your input again and you say something.
All right. Can you hear me now? There we go.
Wonderful. Okay. Woo! We did it.
We did it. We're up and running. Holy moly.
Okay. So now what do? We pretend we're on a podcast.
Yep. So go ahead and introduce yourself and the name of the podcast.
Okay, cool. Hi, and welcome back to AI in Focus. I am your host, Chad Pytel from Thoughtbot, and I'm joined today by Valentino Stoll, newly anointed AI software engineer at Gusto. Valentino, thank you for joining me.
Awesome. Glad to be here. So go ahead and push enter.
Today we're talking about Podcast Buddy. So how does it work? I press enter when I'm about to signal a question start?
Yep.
Okay. So where did Podcast Buddy come from? What instigated you to create it?
Go ahead and enter again and see if it knows the answer. And in a second it should answer back.
Can you hear that?
I can't hear it. No. Is it talking back?
It is talking back. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So that uses I think just like AF play.
Okay.
So I wonder if that has an option we can pass. But while we're we can look at the logs of the session.
Yeah.
Recording everything. So often I'll have like another terminal window open, dealing the logs for it.
And where are the logs?
In temp.
Temp.
And then I think there's a date. Yeah, here we go. So you'll see a track of a running summary.
Mm-hmm.
The topics that it's listening for, the full transcript and that transcript.
The podcast initially faced some technical difficulties, which were successfully resolved, allowing the host to continue with their conversation. Yeah.
And so it should like time just like adding here.
Mm-hmm.
Re-summarizing.
So you so do you how do you envision this being used? Is it running during the actual live podcast recordings that you're doing?
Yep. Yeah, so unfortunately the version published here, the Ruby Gems, doesn't have like the it doesn't have responses. So I built another follow-up that gives like, hey, you might want to ask questions.
So I have it running like this, so I can see what it's heard. And then every so often it'll periodically run a prompt and come up with a list of questions to ask. And then while it's tallying too, when it's all done and I've recorded everything, I have a special prompt that takes the whole transcript and says, "Hey, make show notes. I'm a podcast recorder, and generate any links that you have." And so it'll do its best to just make up the links.
Yeah.
which works better than you might think.
So it generates that when you kill it.
Yeah. So as soon as you close out of this.
So let's do that.
Control C. Yep. And let that shutting down.
Turn off the echo. So, okay, so then we have the.
So you got your show notes here. And let's see if it picked up AF Play or even Podcast Buddy.
So how did it get this? It got this from me introducing you?
Yep. Yeah, so in the transcript, if you look at the transcript logs, it probably has me in there from the beginning. So it just inferred it, right?
Yeah. So let's go over to the code and take a look at some of the so we have the like where the prompts are happening.
Sure. In this particular version, I think that they're all in the exe.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're at the top here after you get past all the logs.
Cool. You're a kind and helpful podcast assistant, diligently extracting topics related to the discussion on the show. Your goal is to prepare this information in an optimal way for participants to ask questions in the context of what is being discussed and optimally for use in the closing show notes. Extract topics for the following discussion. So is this sending the entire transcript every time? Is that what's happening?
So there is a window that it sends, like the last X number of lines, I think it is, of the transcript. And so as time goes on,
here's the ones that have been previously discussed, which you're extracting.
Yeah, so there will be some overlap temporarily while you submit this, and then hopefully it just slims them down to the ones that matter.
Mm-hmm. And then every time you're also getting the new summary.
Yep. Yeah, so kind of rudimentary. It saves the summary in the temp directory in just like a log file.
Mm-hmm.
And then uses that in all subsequent summarization along with the recent discussion.
Mm-hmm. So then that really, and unfortunately it wasn't heard on the stream and you couldn't hear it either, but you also have this idea of then answering the question. Like, is that just something you were like, oh, I bet it can do this?
Yeah, I mean, my goal was to have like a legit co-host, right? Like an AI co-host that I could get to join, and then have it participate like it was a co-host, right? Like like the Notebook LM style, right, where it can actually participate in the conversation. And unfortunately, like there's a lot of like training data from OpenAI models that make it like more of a helpful a helper than it is like an actual person.
Right.
Right. So you'll get a lot of, in order to assist you with that, right? You get a lot of like these responses back.
I'm
So you may,
realizing
yep,
that I was just looking at the code and it saves it to an MP3 file.
yep.
So I believe we might be able to. Okay. So here's the response, and if I go over to loopback and add music.
Ah, the birth of Podcast Buddy. It all started with a sprinkle of frustration and a dash of curiosity. Our anointed AI engineer, striving to make podcasting smoother, wanted to build a little helper to handle technical hiccups and sprinkle in some engaging conversation. Think of it as a podcast genie, minus the lamp.
So that is what it sounded like for those who couldn't hear it. It's pretty good.
I mean, my original plan was like make this completely offline. That's kind of why it's like command line driven, right?
Yeah.
And eventually I would hook it up to a llama. So like I have a branch for hooking a llama up to the transcription processing. And then unfortunately there just wasn't a good text to speech model at the time I wrote this. So
Yeah.
that was like the last piece of the puzzle that I needed. But now thanks to, what is it, like Kuroko? I don't know how you pronounce it. But there's a really performant, like I think it's 80 million parameters, like super small model that just is awesome at text to speech. And that can run fully locally too. So I have the end to end, like kind of in progress of just getting completely offline. But the real time aspect of things, and because in Ruby, I'm trying to use the same process to handle both things, which maybe is part of my problem, like moving forward with a lot of progress here. But so how it works is it like, waits in the process, and then has a short timeout.
Yeah. Where is that
Yeah.
happening here?
So I believe it's like pretty far down.
Yeah.
Almost at the bottom, I think.
Process
Yep.
audio stream.
So this is close. Wow, gets. Yep. So it uses async to like kind of process things asynchronously, but it has this like while loop inside that has this gets, and then it like breaks out if it detects that it's in like a shutdown process. Otherwise, it tries to like process the transcription as it gets it in chunks back from the whisper.
So the way Whisper works is Whisper is streaming the audio and converting it into text. So is that what's coming through this open command? Is the text?
Yep. Yeah. So the standard out to this process from the whisper command is the transcribed text. And so we're just like getting it while in a while loop, the transcription as it progresses through, and then doing some processing on it. And then if you scroll down further, there is like a signal for that like traps when you've pushed like an enter key.
is that?
Yeah. So we have like 2 queues set up basically. Yeah, this is like the meat and potatoes, the wait. Yeah. The wait for questions start. So this is how I like kind of hacked it to work in the same process. And so
What is
it'll go.
rainbow? Is
It's
that
just
just
like
to do
a
colors in
colorized.
terminal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just so I can get some differentiation and as things start like dumping into the output. But yeah, like it'll time out every 5 seconds while it's waiting for you to like push enter.
Yeah.
And then it'll just capture the timeout and try it again to wait for another input. So like there's a little bit of a delay you'll notice, right? When you push enter and like nothing can happen if it's like in the edges of that process.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some like handling. So I'm in the process of like trying to separate out these 2 aspects of things. But yeah, I don't know that there's a good solution. I just had something that worked for me.
Yeah. What so you said one of the problem is this synchronous nature of doing everything in one process. Are
Yeah, so
you
that's the direction I wanted to take with Meeting Buddy, which is like an abstraction I've added on top, which you can't really see from this version of the gem. But Meeting Buddy basically will just handle the transcription and event emitting aspects of it,
mm-hmm.
so that Podcast Buddy can just live on top of it and have these assistants that can process those transcriptions and like subscribe to the events that Meeting Buddy is transcribing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like the direction it is headed. I still haven't figured out where to put the commands. So I have a feeling it'll just end up being another command line you'll have to run, one for the transcription and then one for the assistance aspects.
Mm-hmm. I know that one way to handle this stuff would be to actually start servers too. I guess that's essentially what you're doing if you're running multiple commands, is you're effectively starting a server.
Right.
What is and it's okay if you don't know. I'm curious what Whisper server is. I noticed that inside Whisper.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Where was it?
Let's find out. Oh, they have some examples here. It's a simple HTTP server.
I wonder if you're supposed to, whether you send it like base 64 audio data.
I do see form data. Running inference with a multi-part form. Yeah, and you give it a file.
And you give it a file.
Yep. So it looks like it's set up that you can stream to it. There's a separate stream. There's a WASM.
So that could be an approach. You might need to handle the audio input yourself for that, though.
Right. Yeah, their WASM example also has building similar things.
Mm-hmm. This is you're looking at examples directory.
Yep. And they have a stream.wasm. Which looks like it even loads the models into the browser, which is interesting.
So this is interesting. This live stream.sh transcribe audio live stream by feeding FFmpeg output to whisper.cpp at regular intervals.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's using the CLI to do that. So it's like getting the FFmpeg output, and then every few seconds it's feeding it to the Whisper CLI.
Gotcha.
And getting back the text from that. Actually, it's putting it. Yeah, it's getting the.
I wonder how that performs. Do you have FFmpeg installed? Maybe we could try this out.
I don't, but we can always try.
Yeah, because one of the reasons I went with this Whisper stream is it's all in like, C++.
Right.
And they're doing that same concept of like chunking it up, like just in the code, which I don't know if it's faster, to be honest.
Right. I'm just taking a look here and seeing what audio input it's going to use, but I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, one thing I liked about it too is it uses voice activity detection. Mm-hmm. So it can detect the pauses and break up the chunks better.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't see that in the live stream.
Right. Yeah, it's all the paths aren't going to be set up for these examples. But using Whisper Stream, I actually like based on what you just said. I mean, it really does sort of actually seem like the better way to handle it. But you do have the challenge, like you were saying, of needing to do things this way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and this is so hacky, and a reason why, the main branch doesn't work right now. Right. So I'm trying to like work through a refactor of getting this cleaned up, and I feel like I'm just gonna have to have either a sub process or something, like you were saying, some kind of server that is doing that transcription. I don't know, is there anything in Ruby where you can listen for file events?
There's a gem.
Actually, I know you could do that with sublayer now. Sublayer action.
I'm remembering. I'm blanking on what the name Ruby file events. Yeah, yeah, that's what it was. Listen, it's what we used to use for detecting file changes in our specs to auto run the specs when the files changed.
Yeah, maybe this would be a good approach, is to just dump the transcripts and then have something that listens for changes to the transcript.
Mm-hmm.
And then just make a utility class for that.
Have you experimented doing anything with threads or fibers?
So ChatGPT made me go down that route at first. And it was a mess. And I got all kinds of crazy like race conditions and threading errors. Anytime I see ChatGPT start outputting thread magic, I immediately pause now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was getting local jump errors and all that fun stuff that you get
Mm-hmm.
trying to do things when you're not supposed to.
If you
And I
were
guess
listening to a transcript file every time, would you want to do it every time a new line was added to the transcript?
Yeah, that's probably a good approach. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to add it in chunks anyway. I don't know if this would, you had multiple lines at a time, if it detects one at a time. I guess we could try this out, to be honest. We can try just listening for the transcript log to get updated.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like echo it back.
Okay. So if we touch listener, and then
we can do like an inline bundler inline to install it.
I actually already have a, oh no, this is the gem file from, let's just add it here.
Yeah, easy enough.
So it was,
so we can create, I think, a name for the session on the next run. And then we can specify just like temp and then some name. So like we could do like a TMP/test. And then slash, I think it's just transcript.log. And then when we fire up Podcast Buddy, we can give it a -n test flag.
Oh, I see. So I caught this. This is actually, it does actually use thread. So listen starts a thread where that's happening. That's why it starts the thread. Then this main one just sleeps with no timeout.
Oh, I see.
So that's what's happening there. So it's going to put out that. Shall we try running it and see what happens?
Yeah, let's see.
So you said
it uses today's date too in the.
Oh, is it going to be today's
log
date?
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah.
But yeah, if you do, I think -n will give you the name of the session. Cool.
Okay, yeah, temp test. And then if we go over here, we can verify temp test.
Because we just need to add the date to the transcript log.
It must be a directory. Oh. Okay, so that's running now.
Oh, there it is. Cool. So we get what file was modified.
Right.
How do we get the content?
We would open.
just
We
read
would
it?
open it.
Yeah.
Does open return?
Maybe just file.read
Yeah, that's what.
and maybe last to get the last line.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't really know.
Oh, to get the last line, you mean?
Yeah, the last line. Maybe read lines dot last.
I just want to see what it. Oh, I didn't
What it is
put.
producing.
Was it read _ lines?
I think so. Yep.
I don't know that that's file. It says it's reline. I think file.
Do you have to open it first and then read lines? I forget how that works.
Let's just try that. Last for an instance of string. Let's see what. Okay, so this is. And then I say. Okay. Well, that's working. So we can get if we can figure out the Ruby file.
I get the
read.
difference of what changed. What's modified?
Yeah, it's open. File open. Oh, read lines with no underscore.
Oh, I can never keep track.
That's why it didn't come up in my search, because I wrote it with the underscore.
With the underscore.
Okay. And then I say this. And then I say that. Okay, well, that's working.
That's awesome. So there we have a listener agent that we can start to do stuff with.
Right. What I don't know is how you would do like hit it, like before you were doing enter to signal questions and everything like that. I'm not quite sure how you would do that.
I wonder if it gives a timestamp somewhere. It looks like not. Maybe if you add like a timer inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Actually,
really-
if we go over to the doc for listen, I saw something about you can see the callback block being called in response to each command. And then the callback. Listeners can easily be paused or later unpaused.
like maybe one process has this transcription happening in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and the other process is simply just waiting for user input from the command line. And then we just have like a file that toggles on and off if it's question mode or not.
Right. Well, I'm thinking you could potentially do that because right now this is just sleeping, right? So if
That's true.
instead you change this to while, what was it? And then what was it? Gets to get the input.
Yep. Yeah, assign that to something. Yep. And then I think I chomped it. Or no. Yeah, any any key is gonna work.
I'm just curious about seeing how this behaves. It's funny to see the text of what I just said show up. Okay, so that's still working, and so then if I put input into this, yeah, that's the
You
new
do get
line that
that.
I'm entering.
So we could just toggle the state here.
So we have two thread. We have the main thread where it's looping for the input, and then we have that. So then we could say, if we do this, just as a quick, what was it? It was listener.stop.
Cool. I think it's waiting for us to say something.
Oh, really? Okay, so now it's echoing the input. If I type stop, then it's going to stop. And what listener said was that it actually is still. Oh, I didn't put in a way for it to start again. But it has stopped listening for file changes. It said if you pause, it stops processing changes but keeps collecting them. So actually, I guess we just push start. So now it's listening for changes. It should output them as I talk. Then if I pause, it's not doing anything. What I suspect if I start it up again, all of the changes are going to come through.
Yep.
Let's see what happens. Yeah.
Just pulls the whole file back.
Right.
Interesting. So it almost have to transcribe two separate files.
You mean like the transcript?
Yeah, like the transcript of the show and then the questions asked.
Do you think that the LLM could pick out questions? Like, why do you need to hit enter at all?
I guess it was more for my own sanity. So it just wasn't interrupting guests all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or myself. I did want some kind of manual intervention. Yeah, I mean, this is really cool, though. I mean, this is an easy way to capture the events of the transcription.
Right.
And if you look at in the background of that herd, it's much faster than whatever janky thing I'm doing.
And I noticed that there's settings in Listen to like latency, that kind of thing. So I like you said, you ran into a bunch of issues using threads before, but it seems like, this gem makes it easier to use threads without having a lot of issues. Well, are you actively using this on Ruby Rogues?
Yeah, I'm still using it. So like I said, I have like a special branch that I use that I'm just constantly hacking on to try and get it to work better.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually I'll upstream the changes again. But yeah, I was trying to like find a better way to just do any meeting and like allow you to change the prompts. So like I have a podcast buddy, but maybe you want to have something that is more specific to the kinds of meetings that you run, or the kinds of things that you're transcripting. Maybe you're like singing and you want like help like coming up with lyrics while you're singing. I don't know, like karaoke. You could do all kinds of fun stuff.
Well, I like the idea. Part of what not only do I do my own podcasting and that kind of thing, so this was interesting to me, but I think as sort of tech nerds, like we see these agents and meeting note takers joining our calls and that kind of thing, and I, like you, am pushing towards doing things with local LLMs offline, that kind of thing. So I really like the idea of having tools where I know what they're doing and I can hack away at their source code in Ruby if I can, because I love it, and using local LLMs and techniques.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. And a large part of me is I wanted to use this for, work meetings too.
Yeah.
And I just, I can't use OpenAI to transcribe like, confidential conversations, right?
Well, that's a problem with a lot of these tools that people are using, is really it's sending every conversation that you're having in a meeting to external third parties.
Right. Yeah, and it's nice having the recordings even of the meeting. So
Right.
it's like kind of like an artifact of the whole process. Right now, it's not like saving the recording anywhere, but like with that FFmpeg stream, like that could also be happening in the background as its own server startup. So maybe that's something Podcast Buddy can move to as well, as like just having a recording saved of the overall thing to do post processing on. Yeah, there's lots of open items here.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by and sharing with us this sort of in progress work. I hope people watching see it and think that it's also interesting to be able to hack on this stuff for our own efforts, and maybe you'll get some contributors out of it too.
Yeah, I definitely need them. It's all just me like hacking around, having fun. So if this is at all meaningful to you or helps you out, like please contribute. I'll just merge it. Like I don't know how many people are using this at this point, but just me.
Awesome. Well, Valentino, thanks again. And next week we will be doing another thing that's fun. Let me put it up. So next Thursday, Rakesh from Thoughtbot is going to join, and we're going to build a mobile game together. We're going to actually use Cursor to help us generate a React Native mobile application. And our goal is to take an idea for a game and to be able to, within the live stream, build the mobile game. So I'm looking forward to that. I have a few ideas for games. If you have an idea for a game, feel free to leave a comment wherever you're watching, and we'll see it. And we can pick an idea that we're going to do on the live stream next week.
That's awesome.
Next Thursday, April 10th. Why does it say April 7th? I don't know. It's April 10th. Thanks again, Valentino. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Sounds good, Chad.
Bye.
Thanks for having me on.